Yeah, that way.
Hello, hello. Well, welcome to the podcast of Brothers of Many Words. I'm your host, RP.
I am a co-host, King Mackey.
Hey, I'm Corey H.
Special guest Christopher Wilkins.
Wilson. How's everybody doing this evening?
Loving life, man. Loving life.
Good to go. Good to go, brother.
Yes, sir. Wonderful.
Everybody's family doing okay?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll start it off with a little bit of positivity this evening. A little bit of positivity.
Yes, sir. Spread
Here we
that
go.
word. Spread that word.
Greatness.
RP.
That's
Let's hear
right.
it, let's
That's
hear
right.
it.
I'm gonna give it to him. Greatness is rarely born in comfort. It grows in the moments when you choose discipline over distraction, courage over fear, and purpose over ease. When you feel like quitting, remember that this is exactly where transformation begins. And that is so true.
10-4. Faith, dedication, and
I
discipline.
like that, brother.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
I love it.
Ken. All right, tonight is open mic night. Open mic night. Open mic night, we pick 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 random questions. Then we have open discussions on them. We are putting them in the chat right now, so we encourage you to take a look at them as we discuss them, and you're absolutely encouraged to have your input as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts and your views on such things. So I believe they said question number 2 we've already had.
I
Is
think
that
so.
what it is?
I do remember us having to answer a question similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
it
see.
was similar, but okay. I'm down.
You want another one?
We can go to another one.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the text and send it to Corey.
All right.
Okay, so we go ahead and kick this thing off. So our first question is: could you marry someone of a different religion? Could you marry someone of a different religion?
Woo.
And so I will kick this thing
Kick
off.
Kick it off, RP.
And man, and that's a great question. And just hearing that, so I had to instantly think back. Was that something that me and my wife discussed? That's something that we discussed, and I can honestly say that we did not to any in-depth degree. And so, however, going along, we think alike, so we're all the same mind. So that in that regard has been a blessing. Could I do that? Man, especially at the what we didn't cover last year.
Yeah.
Because some religions, as we know, cultures they're very deep. They're very their faith is strong and it's very powerful. And so, if you are not of that faith, I could certainly see where the conflict could begin.
Yeah.
And absolutely, if you have not discussed that from the very beginning, which sitting there thinking like, why didn't I do that? Because it's absolutely an important thing. Let alone you get, maybe 5 years down the road, you got 1 or 2 kids involved, and it's like, well, I believe in such. Well, like, you know what? Well, that's stupid. I believe in such.
Right.
But then it's like, well, now what we gonna do?
Right.
How would you compromise on such a thing like that?
Right.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very difficult.
Oh man.
I mean, in my opinion,
Go ahead.
I don't know. I could not. And I mean, you guys gotta have on equal ground. I mean, it does depend on the person. Some people can do it. I know people that are married and they have different beliefs in religion. But that requires a different type of person to be able to accomplish that. Most people would not. And also depends on the type of religion you follow as well. And it depends what type of church, especially among the Protestant churches. You got multiple different denominations, and they all kind of believe something different when it comes around divorce and marriage and religious practices and whatnot. But me personally, I really don't think it would work if you're planning on raising a family.
Sure.
Right. 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 Corey, you want to go next?
Ooh, do I have a story, gentlemen, for you about the religious
ah,
thing?
ah,
Okay.
ah.
Okay. So it started out. I'm like 19. I'm young. We're getting I didn't ask my ex-wife, these important questions because I should have, because her religion was a Jehovah's Witness, and I grew up Christian.
Mm,
So that
mm.
I didn't know it was going to be a problem until we got married. So we're married now, and against the wishes of the elders, which they tried to let me know, hey, you know what, maybe you should think about that. But we're hard headed young, so we get married, and she, like I said, she's a witness, and I'm a Christian. So our children are born now. Now we have children. So I was
Right.
like, you know what, I'm gonna say it like this. You go to my church, I go to your hall, because they believe that their church is called a hall. I'll go to your hall,
Right.
and when the
Right.
kids get older, we'll let them decide. I was cool with that. However, she was not. She felt like her religion superseded Christianity, and
Right.
it's all about this. If you really study both of them, it's they're talking about the same thing, just different ways. However, she thought that the witness superseded Christianity. So in my home, I went to church, and I wanted to support her, so I went to the hall. And she was like, "Oh yeah, you're doing good. You're studying. You're going to the hall." But I'm like, "Man, I'm just doing this for the family." However, it did not work out because she wanted to run the household, and me being, I feel like the spiritual
Wow.
leader and the leader, I felt like I felt like I pushed and pulled enough. However, she thought that she could run the household. That created a me being the person that
Hmm.
I am. It created a hell, because now my children are like 3, 4, 5, and telling me, "Hey,
Right.
Daddy, you need to say Jehovah. Why are you wearing earrings?" And I'm like, "Why are you telling me what to do, little child?"
Oh
But
wow. Oh wow.
that's something that you have
Mm.
to ask. That's definitely number one question that you need to ask. Who's going to budge and who's not going to budge. But I'm like, Chris is saying, I don't now. I would not do that because it's just not. To me
Right.
personally, it won't work. I feel like I budged a lot, so I feel like that's a
Right.
really important question to have when you get married. So
Right.
that's it, gentlemen. Yeah, it did not work for me. So
Right.
thank you.
Yeah. 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 Man, I have to say, I'm not very religious, but I'm very spiritual, so it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. You know, it was we'll be in trouble. I'd be like Corey. I'd be like, you know what?
Right,
You and your hall can step
right,
down, you know. So
right. Yes, yes.
oh, man.
From when we were studying last year, the origins of religion, some face, some faiths, even to this day, some of these some cultures, that is covered, like that is
Mm,
covered right off the bat.
right.
Right,
If
right.
you are not part of their faith, it ain't even nothing to talk about. It just go down the road. So with that being said, it seems like you know, I don't know if you want to say Western ideology, that's not so much the deal. Chris had mentioned interdenomination, different faiths. So it's like we don't. It seems to me that it's not a topic of discussion as we have learned and through life experience that it
Mhm,
definitely is important.
right.
It's a very important question.
Right.
Um, but some faiths or in some cultures, it's that is part of the deal. Like that,
That is true.
that is discussed right off the bat.
Right. Absolutely.
It's definitely
Absolutely.
something me and my wife did talk about. So we were on common ground when we got married, and I think that is very important. And if there's any young couples out here listening to us, definitely have that conversation if you guys decide to tie the knot.
Right.
Not in a hateful way or a mean way, but sit down on common ground and come to the term is, do you think your love trumps a religious belief and religious dogma belief? Maybe that conversation will spark you to really look at the religion and maybe a certain church or place that you're following.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely something to make sure to talk to before you make that decision.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you get kids involved, and it's a mess. Down the road, it's something that
Hmm.
like in real time, not real time, but I just had that situation where it just exploded, man. It was just like you push and you pull, and then just you should be on the same common ground. It makes it a hell of a lot
Right.
easier down the road, especially when you have kids
Equally
involved.
Yeah.
yoked. Equally yoked. Equally
Yep, there
yoked.
you go.
Equally yoked is important.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
I do believe. I mean, even though say if someone is married though, and they're already down this path and they've already have kids, they still have a successful marriage, but they want to instill their beliefs in their kids. Um, they need to sit down and have a discussion, and not do that until the kids are become self aware and autonomous of themselves, where they have the ability to choose, and that comes at different ages for different kids. But when the parents sit down, they should both be able to instill their beliefs within their children without a dogmatic view,
Right.
um, given the proper tools, so where that kid can make their choice. And if that kid does make that choice, um, and it's against the other parent's religion, then they should have that discussion that we should respect our kid's decision as being a self-aware, autonomous human being.
That's right.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So the family doesn't get ripped apart. I mean, respect goes a long ways.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm with y'all on that. I mean, I'm with y'all. Even like you said, Robert and Corey, even Chris, before even our first date or our first date, we will be discussing those things. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
Those are very good answers, man. That's a powerful question right there. It's just
It
like
is.
something we can truly get into and talk about. Because I want to ask you, is it even, not even is it worth it, but if you decide, if you come to the conclusion that you both believe in something differently. However, as Chris said, does your love trump that? Do you think your love could survive that?
Hmm.
Is it still worth the chance and
Right.
taking? Because that's something that has been you were raised with from a childhood, and those things are not easy to just change. And just like
Hmm.
just like that, for the sake of somebody else, to keep pushing forward. So then,
Right.
is it worth it? Is it worth to? Can you truly do that? And if not, what about the resentment that tends to build up in those situations along the
True.
way? That
True.
you don't display because you're trying to do it for the family. It's
Right.
just all those type of things. But
Yeah.
that's a great
Yeah.
question. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Okay, so instead of question number two, we're just going to question number two because I added another one and Corey graciously posted it in there for us. Okay, so question number two: what legacy do you want to leave? I like that.
I do too.
Right on. Right
I
on.
like that.
Yeah, I like that. What legacy do you want to leave? Um, what you got? What you got, Chris? What did you have?
Oh, legacy. That's a big question.
It is.
Heavy question,
It is.
really. Not something you can just really pop off the dome with. But in all reality, the legacy I want to leave behind is not necessarily an image of myself, but I definitely want to leave behind an image of Christ, um, and I want to leave behind an image of love and charity, and that I did my best to help people that I could.
Hmm.
When I had the opportunity to lend a hand, I did. That's what I want to leave behind.
Hmm.
I'm not really big on leaving behind a big name and hey, this is what I did. More so is what impact and what seeds that I leave behind, once this physical body has left this planet.
Right.
And if those seeds are going to produce fruit in the future.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Um, I guess I'm gonna go with that one. So I mean, you know, compassion. You know what I mean? And even going off of what Chris said, I want to leave a legacy of compassion. I've joked before about statues and this and this and this, but I feel like compassion goes a long way. And that's something that we currently need in our everyday lives. You know what I mean? And if you consider a compassion person, meaning that I actually put my personal agenda behind somebody else's, um, I mean, I feel like that'll stick and it goes a long way. It goes a long way. So compassion would be a legacy that I want to leave behind for others to understand and pick up and gather.
And I'll just piggyback off of the both of you gentlemen because I'm in agreement with all those things. And it's not about so much as being grandiose and leaving big things and buildings and things like that, but the love and compassion
Hmm.
and how that has spilled over into all those that I have met and have touched, especially my wife and my children, when they speak and how they raise their kids, they know does that spill over to them. So certainly, I'm in agreement with both of you. The love and compassion and the will to never give up, to keep pushing, and to always do better, um, to help those who need it,
Right.
and
Right.
to also learn that even though you are on this earth, in reality, it's not about you. It's about what you can do for others
Hmm.
and help them along the way. So that's
Right.
definitely what I would like to leave behind.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's very good, Robert. Very good, Haru and Chris. I would like to leave behind resilience. I'm real big on coming back,
Hmm.
bouncing back, and want to show my daughters, but my sons more or less. I want to show them that you're gonna bump your head. Daddy got permanent knots. You know what I'm saying, from bumping my head, and I just want to show them. You know what I'm saying, like as a man, as young men,
That's right.
to come back, man, and bounce back and shake the dust off your feet and keep on going
That's
because
Hmm.
I used to have role models and stuff like Michael Jordan, unrealistically. But when my father had passed away, I found myself at 40 years old saying, "Damn, man, people said some really good things about my father." So I want to be like him. You know what I'm saying? Because he was upright, and I want to leave the same legacy to my sons as well as men. You
Hmm.
know, and for
Right.
my daughter and for my
Right.
daughters to for the new me, not the old me, to show them
Right.
how a man is supposed to treat women and how a man is
Hmm.
supposed to be. So my inner circle is who I want to leave that kind of legacy behind. That daddy messed up, but daddy showed did
Yeah.
come back too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's great right there, brother. And that resiliency and that the permanent knots. That's a and showing your children, you get knocked down,
Yeah.
but what do you do when you get knocked down? Do you
right.
lay down or do you get up? Because listen, as we know, we've got years on this earth, so we have some wisdom in that
Hmm.
regard. And life is hard. It just
Yeah.
depends on which poison or whatever road you're going to take, However, but you're dead on with that, Corey. You're dead on with
Hmm.
that, man.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
Okay. Oh, ho, ho,
Number
ho.
3.
Question number 3.
What's
Woo!
question number three? What's
Sexual
Woo!
performance.
oh shit.
What
Mm.
do you do to keep it spicy? Spicy in the bedroom. What do you do?
Woo! There's the
Hmm.
question for y'all
Okay,
see.
okay.
There's the question right there, right?
I like that, Corey. I like that.
I do too. That was a great job, man. I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Sexual
So,
performance. What do you do to keep it spicy in the bedroom?
Woo, Haru.
King Mackie, come on with it.
bro, it's the question is what I don't do. I do it all.
That's
I
right.
do as
That's
much
right.
as I can. You
That's
know.
right.
Um, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I love this between our wife and I. From the time we get up, it becomes a sense of foreplay where we walk by each other in the house, we touch, we look. If I go, do some work, I would say, I text her, hey, I miss you, I'm thinking about you, because it's like every part of my day reminds me of her. You know what I mean? So it's just easy to, to kind of sit back and be like, hey, what you doing? Hey, what you wearing? You know what I mean? Hey, like for instance, like tonight, we got a date night. We do date night. Like we
Yeah,
actually make a scene. We
yeah.
actually set up a bar scene like we're going to a business meeting. And we actually I wear slacks and she wears and we actually go
Hey.
through. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you this too, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all brothers this too. We have fixed a lot of our own BS through the role playing because
Yeah,
through the role playing, we have kind of forgotten who we are and we
right,
played this role. So she
right.
speaks to me as I am somebody else. And I speak
Yeah,
to her and we look up and we be like, man, our whole situation can turned around.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can turn around. But collectively, we got 6 kids. And every month I'm wondering if there's a seventh popping up, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Y'all better stop before I get in trouble. Let me stop.
Woo,
you know, um, Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, Rob. No, go ahead.
For us, um, it's been it's been a road for sure. As we got a big family. We got 4 kids, at the house. So, I know there's this the saying that you make the time to do that, and we try our best. I will say it is hard sometimes. It is
Right.
hard because there's 4 little ones and much is required with 4 kids. I know some people can push through and do that thing. However, both people have to be on the same page with that.
Right.
I love my wife, and I tell you, hey, I'll speak from, I'm 56, but I know I look 25, and I tell
There
you
you
that,
go.
hey,
There
hey,
you go.
hey, I'll
Hey,
tell you,
yeah.
I stay in the gym. I keep myself in shape, and I tell you,
Right.
Big Cat is hot. I'm
Yeah.
always, you know what I mean? It's like that that drive. I know I look at
Woo!
some other gentlemen at my age, and I look at their condition. I know I
Right.
talk to them and this and that and the other
Right.
about, well, you wait till you get such and such and such, it ain't gonna be the same. And
Yeah.
it's like I don't even know what you're talking about
Right.
because
Right,
as far
right,
as I can see in the future, when I'm
right,
taking my last breath, it's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
You
right,
know,
Yep.
and
right.
so, but Spice, what Haru just said, that's something that I would definitely like to implement into our our bedroom, as so to speak, because I've seen and I've read about role playing and how powerful
Hmm.
that can be,
Hmm.
and it's something that we surely need to work on. Absolutely need to work on. But
Yeah,
I love that, man, and I love that.
Yeah.
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 Man, keeping it saucy is something that we do. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Hey.
Jello pudding, like Bill
Hey.
Cosby. Man, we keep it. I'm just saying we keep it saucy, man. I'm gonna tell you, my wife and I, we were both previously married, and we knew each other before, but once we actually got together like years later, we've been together 14 years, and this has been the only person that's kept my attention in the bedroom and out the bedroom. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like the only, I
Right.
mean, no
Right.
blemishes, no the same woman for 14 years, and I absolutely we keep it saucy, man. We like Caruso said, the role play, we do, yeah, and it's important that we keep it saucy because we keep it so saucy, like I'm allowed to, with the confines of our bedroom and responsibility,
They
I can
eating
do,
sauce.
I can do, you know what I'm saying? I can do whatever I want to do, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
also that comes with she's like, we can do whatever, but but that whatever is, hey, I got to be real careful on what whatever is. So we like to keep it interesting, man.
Right.
We like it's just cool, man. I love my wife and I love our intimacy. We're both veterans in the bedroom, and we both and it's always
You said
important. I
veterans.
keep her. I, you know,
Veterans.
seriously, I keep
That's
her
what's
first,
up.
her needs first. Always keep her first and put her first. You know what I'm saying? That's really important. Gentlemen, listeners, if you're out there, keep the woman first, and then you take heed afterwards. So,
Yeah.
man, I love our
That's what's
like
up.
the black. I mean, like not the black magic, but the sexual magic, the books and stuff. Ruben talking about, the Karma Sutra, everything. You know what I'm saying? To keep each other interested, man. That way you don't
Right.
That's right.
you don't need to go outside anywhere if you two are both
Right.
on the same. I want to please my husband, I want to please my wife. Okay, so
Right.
we got that
Right.
understanding. Now let's keep it saucy. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
That's,
whether that's clothes or whether that's dates, you got to
that's
keep
right.
it keep it good.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's all I got, gents.
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
Chris?
I think when it comes to that is uh, the biggest part is you got to have communication between each other. Listen to each other and what each other wants and desires are. Implement those things, and um, I think really the most important thing is to know what each other finds attractive, and communicate that to each other. Another important thing is in my opinion, it's really important to maintain physical health. If you maintain your physical health, and that's going to aid your performance. If you can't perform in the bedroom, you're not going to have much fun. And you kind of have to be fit to have a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
True.
And
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys that become, they married for 10 years or they're middle aged, and they're telling me that they're not having sex with their wives, and their wives don't want to have sex with them. And the biggest part of that is the men ain't confident in yourself, and they're saying their wife doesn't act like they're attracted to them.
Right.
Um, Well, I mean, are you attracted to yourself? You look yourself in the mirror. Is that
True.
something you'd be attracted to? Ask yourself
True.
that question.
Yes.
Right.
And if the question's no, then maybe you should fix yourself.
That's
Right.
true. That's a fact.
See, you can have that for your wife, and that goes both ways for the husband and the wife.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's important to keep it spicy in the bedroom. I think it's important to please each other, and I think it's important to keep that private. I know everyone may practice different things, but in my opinion, I think your sexual life between a husband and a wife should be kept private between them. There's no reason for what you do in the bedroom to be discussed with anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I will admit I kind of I don't go into details, but I think it's important because
Right.
you know what, as we've learned through our reading, the church, the ancient church itself, and then even the modern church has really taken that out the equation, even though we understand to procreate, but to bring up sex and to bring that up, in groups or, around other people, it's like a cuss word. You know what I mean? And it really is. And it's something that should be talked about, And like you said, Chris, I've met a lot of gentlemen and women and wives and, couples in general that they don't. As a matter of fact, I was doing security bike week and a young lady walks up to me and has a conversation with me, and somehow she gets on sex and says she hadn't had sex with her husband in 25 years. I told my wife knows if you go 5 hours, we have a problem. We got a problem.
25 years.
25 years. But
That's
in
insane.
her point of view, I understood it. But you know what? Like Chris has mentioned, even having sex has health benefits. It has health benefits.
Yeah.
And so if you eliminate that completely out your life, I wonder where do you stand when it comes to your health? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'll tell you this, a lot of my guys who work for me, for some reason, they understand my red light. My red light is on in my house. You do not call me. You do not ring the doorbell. I digress.
Wow.
Well,
Yes,
well,
that's
well,
true.
that's a part of being a human. That sexual prowess is a natural raw energy.
True.
It is 25 years. There's got to be something internally going on. I'm just assuming because that's energy left unchecked leads to terrible things. 25 years, my goodness gracious. But it is something that, and you're right too about how it has become such a taboo subject to even talk about when it absolutely should be talked about. And then you talk about family and your children. I'm an open book. We ain't got there yet to some degree, but I don't hold no punches with that because that is important. I'd rather they hear it from me than from on the streets first, and then for me it's too late.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. 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 And I even think Chris even mentioned just love, but I love the way I look. Physically, if I didn't have to wear clothes, I wouldn't wear clothes. But it's unfortunately it's against the law. You know what I'm saying? But I to Chris's point, I think that's a valid thing. That's valid. You know what I mean? You need to love yourself. And if you don't, then again, you're not gonna be as confident, and that's gonna show regardless. And your wife is gonna know that. She knows you in and out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I really feel like too, I've talked to men that have the dysfunction, erectile dysfunction. And I really don't believe in it because I believe it's more mental. I had a homeboy particularly, he's not married. And he called me, he was like, hey man, I had this, female over and we did our thing. And in 10 minutes, she wanted to go again. But you know me, bro. Like I was ready, but I wasn't ready. And so it played in his head. He was like, bro, man, hey, I need to get this. I need to get that. I said, bro, don't let it get in your head. You know what I mean? It happens. It happens. Don't let age bother you. Don't let society bother you. Because I think society plays a role in that too, where we need these particular pills and need this particular, these supplements to enhance us, which we already have that ability if you can only change this. And then, like Chris said, possibly change your physical nature as well, too.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, I think sexual performance is, if you have erectile dysfunction, most of the time for most men, especially in America, when we know the statistics, we have a lot of people with type 2 diabetes.
True.
We got a lot of people that are obese, a lot of people that sit in a chair and play video games, and they're proud that they're gamers and they're wonder why their stuff don't work.
Right. Yes.
I mean, cardiovascular health is super important to be able to maintain an erection.
Right.
I mean, just if you don't use your body,
Right.
the body's not going to be able to perform.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, we have a problem in Western society with that. And yeah, and also when guys don't work out and they're not physically fit, that their testosterone goes down.
It does.
Man,
When the body's not
that's
challenged, when a man's body is not challenged,
Right.
that is
it's
the
not
truth.
going to it's not going to have a stimulus to create testosterone.
Right.
And then, you know, we're under a systemic it's an epidemic in my opinion, really, among men today with the compounding effects of the food and lifestyle,
Goodness.
you know.
Yeah.
And then you get into depression, and it's just like a snowball effect.
Right.
A lot of guys can't pull out of it. And really the biggest thing for a man is you just need to start accomplishing something.
Right. Yes. I do.
You
agree.
complete a task, and I promise you the next one's going to be easier, and it's going to that's a snowball effect, and you can reverse it.
Yes.
But you got to take the first step and do it.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, that's
Speak on to what Chris just said. He is dead on with that. Dead on with that. And so what you spoke on too, Haru, you know, with the what it's all in your mind, you know, and it's hard because every TV, every media outlet, you got a remedy for this, and this. But also with those remedies, you got side effects of this, and this. So it's just a chain ball effect. And that does mess up with your mind instead of you getting outside of that and knowing that if you get this right to add to everything Chris just said, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're talking about this too. That's so we can apply it in our personal lives because as we we hold each other accountable on this platform, and it's just good though, man. And it's you have to work out and get a regimen. We don't stay 20 forever. So I mean, if you listen to the examples of you know what I'm saying of Haru and Chris and Robert, man, you know they work out. I promise you, these gentlemen work out all the time. So it's important now. If you don't work out, man, you will lose it, man. You will lose it. So
Yeah. And one more thing with Chris. I know we're taking along. You know, he said something about challenging, and me and my wife were just talking about that today. You know, because that's one thing I do. You know, we run a business in the summer. In the winter, you know, it gets slow for us. And so, you know, I'm at home a whole lot, but I always look to challenge myself, whether I go, you know, when I did police academy or I went to the fire department and started volunteering, you know, I constantly kept doing things or become, you know, a lodge brother. I constantly kept doing things to challenge myself because I realized that I'm like a shark. If I stop moving, I'm going to drown. But as long as I keep moving and keep moving forward, it just invigorates me. You know, it just invigorates me and it feels so good. Even me coming back, I hadn't worked out in 13 years prior to me coming back to the gym in January. And I go to Chris's gym in Camden. And I hadn't worked out in 13 years. And so I'm not going to say my sex drive was depleted, but I noticed the difference in my excitement and in my vigor within myself when I started working out again.
right,
Hell, my wife did too. You know what I'm saying? It's just an excitement that comes with that. And then again with blood flow because now I'm more active. You know
right.
what I mean? And what I'm doing. I goddamn love it. Recommend every man in America should be doing some type of body squat, should be
Right,
working out
right,
and doing something, staying
right.
active on a daily basis. I encourage that.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
And not just half-ass doing it.
No.
Pushing yourself,
Pushing.
challenge as you just
Yes,
say, to
mental.
push yourself,
Yes.
to
Yes.
push yourself.
Yeah, because even when you
Train.
have sex, it's mental.
Yes,
I'm bad.
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Yeah,
it goes
yeah,
through every guy's mind,
Hey,
man. It goes
that's
through every
right.
guy's
That's
mind.
right.
You talking to
Free.
yourself or you talking
That's
to
right.
her. You know,
That's
Yeah.
I
right.
know you like to sing, girl. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
it's whatever it
That's
is.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right, brother.
Right,
All
Put
right.
some mirrors up, man.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's live. That's raw. I like
Right
that.
on, right on.
Yeah.
Oh man, great question. Love the insight. Love the insight. That's beautiful stuff right there. Okay.
And to one last thing to end that with, in my experience, sex has gotten exponentially better being with one person for a long period of time.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
a true man. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Facts.
That's a true man. Yeah.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I want to ask a question, but
Go ahead.
So let me ask y'all this, right? This is a conversation my wife had. So, do you guys believe in polygamy?
No.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
You know,
Oh man.
So
man, that's
can I expand on that real quick?
yes. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Chris.
So in my opinion, I'm not saying mine is right. It's just my opinion. And for for me personally, in my relationship with my wife, sex is very personal. And to me, it's a spiritual thing. And the more you do it, I grow. I think I grow more spiritually with my wife. It doesn't even have to be the act of sex, but just being intimate in that way with my wife,
Right.
and growing spiritually. And I know for me, if that builds trust with me with my wife. And in the past, I've been a person that's been affected by a lot of people betraying me. So trust was very hard for me to start trusting my wife. To being a person I can actually trust with everything and anything. And, that didn't happen with my wife the first year we got married, second year or third year, or fourth year we've been together. It took a while for me to get to that point with her. And now that I am, and that's part of that was because of sex, between me and her exclusively. And it allowed me and myself to become courageous as a man, to be able to have the ability to do risks and take certain risks for our family. And it really does come down to that. I know it may not be for every man, but for me it was, and that's why if we ever strayed from that, it would break apart that spiritual connection I have.
Okay. Okay.
That's good. That's good, Chris.
Guess we're gonna leave that. We can move past that one. I just wanted to throw that one out there. No,
I want to say
go
something on
ahead.
that too, and
Okay.
piggyback off what Chris is saying, and I agree with him. It isn't just about the physical act of sex that is a part of it, but it's also for me, the touching and the feeling, and it is on a spiritual level, and also too, to be with that one person, you do build that trust. Everything you all in with that one person. To look outside of that and to do something outside of that, but then you've given a piece of yourself away from that, from your wife or whoever that may be. You made another deposit somewhere else, so that's a chink gone. So, and you've done that. You've also taken a part of this way, the mentality of that away as well too. So to do that, I'm in agreement with Chris on that. It's like it's a very special thing, and oh man, it's a crazy thing. Look. Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
That's a great question, though.
Very
Did you
good.
want to say something on it, Corey? You were going to say something?
No, it's good. No, it's good. We could we could go on. That's a whole nother 10, 15 minutes, man. So I agree. It's just but it's very important for me to keep. I'm so glad that I have someone that's been my ride or die for 14 years, and we've experienced. Only as before we got together, we were probably wild. But when we got together, we are number one, have been number one. So it is very beautiful to share that experience with one person, and I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll throw my 2 cents just real quick. Can I throw my 2 cents real quick?
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
So I'm gonna go with. Let me do my disclaimer first, because I know my wife's listening. No, from the get go, my wife and I, we feel like that we've known each other in past lives. Even when we first met, we felt like that there was something we already knew about each other. And so when it came to, what Chris was talking about, like trust and compassion and love, like we felt like that was already there. You know what I mean? And but I do believe that um the monogamous relationship is something more westernized. I do believe that when we start looking more into our books and we start looking into like ancient African kingdoms like we are, and beyond, or that polygamy, I believe it's okay. And for some, for me and my wife, it's not. That's not something that I want to be a part of. And I think the Western world has put that into a box where, we feel like we lose something, but it just depends. To me, it's always based upon your intentions. You know what I mean? So I've read some books on ancient Egyptians and when they believe in polygamy, and they used not necessarily used, but they were mated with somebody to manifest things into the world. Do you know what I mean? And so again, I believe it's based upon intentions. With me, I'm happy where I'm at. You know, we're strong in what we do. Plus, my wife has all the passwords and all the bank accounts, so it wouldn't make sense to step out any goddamn way.
Right, right,
Let's go.
right.
Let's move on, y'all. Let's move
Yes.
on before I get myself in trouble.
All right, Kings. Question number 4. Technology and how it has changed family and society. Technology, how it has changed family and society. What you got? What you got, Corey?
um. Okay, so technology and how it changed. Technology is good. You know what I'm saying? Technology is good. I believe. Oh, sorry about that. I believe. Okay, so technology is good in a way. I do believe it is made a lot of us a little bit too much relying on it, man. Um, if something happened, you know, like if something happened, I mean, heaven forbid that we get slammed with all the, like if we start getting under attack and we lose communication and stuff. How are we gonna function? You know what I'm saying? How are we gonna get message? I mean, how are we gonna really talk to each other? I like the old school landlines. Uh, um, it just I think that there has to be a healthy boundary on like how much screen time that you like screen times that you know the kids have and how much screen time that we have because we can get sucked into this take you know these phones and stuff, man. And, you know, you go into some places and stuff, and like where I work, our dispatcher sometimes dispatcher, you know, I'm looking at the orders and stuff, and I can't. We have no face to face contact or just normal interactions. There is no more normal interactions. You go into Starbucks or anywhere, and people are looking at the damn phones, and you know it's just something, man. I think it's I don't really too much care for too much technology. Yes, all the AI stuff is good. Yes, it's easier, you know, yeah, some of the, you know, the cars and everything is all cool and easier, but really, I think that it's really, it's in the beholder, and I think that you should definitely set boundaries and healthy boundaries, especially when it comes to your family. You don't want, you know, I've seen some places and walked to some people's houses and their kids are they're looking at their phones, you know what I'm saying, looking at their phones and they're not paying, you know, they're just not paying attention. I think that it's important to like in our house, we don't do the phone thing. As soon as I get off, you know, line, I'm pretty much done with the phone thing, you know, and I think that that's important, man. But the answer to the question is, I think that it's kind of bad. I really truly think that all this technology is bad. I think that if something were to happen, I think that I should be able to get a contact with you guys or something. I find some way to get a hold to get a hold of you. But that's the answer to your question. I think technology is kind of good, kind of bad.
I think technology is awesome and it is amazing. And to add on to what Corey said, I agree with his point. There needs to be a healthy dose of how that is interacted within your household. You know, as he said, you know, going out to certain spots, restaurants, or Starbucks, whatever that may be, even at the gym. You know, people sitting on these machines just glued to their phone. You know, not even aware of paying attention. You know, of their surroundings and what's going on, not even aware of what's happening. And you know, in our household, we do monitor the kids. You know, with their technology. Listen, because it's going to be a part of their lives, as it is going to be a part of ours. So they need to have some knowledge, if not a great deal of it, to how this is going to interact. And you know, I was along the same lines. You know, the landlines, I do believe in that. As far as you know, accepting technology, there was that pushback from me. However, I'm I have digressed. I see that from what I want to do in the future, that technology is absolutely a part of that. And so to continue to push back on that it will be a problem. Because I do not, for those who, you know, I don't know, there could be a chance for those who do push back may not, may be left behind, so to speak, because technology is coming that way. And um, there needs to be a healthy balance for that, for sure.
Chris, you want to go?
Yeah, man. So I think technology is phenomenal. I really love technology. Now, in the past, this is an opinion that I have changed in recent years. You know, before I was not a fan of technology. That's because I was kind of ignorant to it, didn't really understand how to use it, and I was kind of still stuck in a few dogmatic ways of how I was raised as a kid. And now that I understand what it is, one of the benefits my mother did for me as a kid, even though I hated it, I understand now is I wasn't raised with TV or any type of electronics in our household, and that definitely played a big role in how I developed as a child. And so when I see technology, I see it as a tool, and I don't think there's a problem with technology. I think the problem with it is how it was introduced to our society and how it was um, displayed for us to use and how we should use it. And a lot of people in today's world that use the technology really don't understand it, including myself. And I'm in the process of I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning that, and we don't really respect technology. And so parents, they like to blame the technology while they're using on the kids. And a lot of people like to do that instead of understanding what the technology is, respect it, and then be able to utilize it in a way that helps humanity and society.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it has changed our family and has changed how we operate today. And in some families, it's for the better, and some families for the worse. And it really is up to the person that's using it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, hmm. So I want to give this quote by Albert Einstein. He says, "I know not with what happens with World War III or how World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones." Um, and so I'm with all you guys. I think it's a balance. And like Corey, RP, and Chris said, um, I think it makes things a little quicker, and when we think about technology, you think about maybe like the pick fork or the pickaxe. When people were dealing with the railroad, but then now we have certain technology which makes that a lot quicker. You know what I mean? So it's always, to me, it's about the intentions. So if things can make things a little quicker, and we can build houses now in 6 months versus a year, if we're able to use it to again help cure cancer and different diseases out there, then which we won't even get into that conversation like we did last time, but I feel like it's worth it, right? But again, I was against technology for a while. That's why me and my wife lived off the grid. I had a flip phone at that particular time. I wanted to get away from everything. And so when I was able to create that balance, and when I came full fledged back into society, I feel like I had more control over technology itself. But I do believe that we're the most technological beings in this world, regardless of what we think a computer can do. Because when you start studying the mind versus a server or a particular, algorithm or a particular, computer piece, it always states that our brain can compute more information, and remember, more information than the largest computer in the world. So I'm always going to look to rely on myself and use technology as a secondary.
That's good.
When I've had to push back about technology, when I always thought of the overuse of it. The movie, I don't know if you've seen this movie before, but Wally is a Disney movie, and how everybody is being chauffeured around on those little
Hmm.
sleds with the
Yep.
computer screen right there,
Yep.
and they're just
Yeah.
all
Yep.
fat and happy, and not even till they realize that they were unglued from the thing. That it always pops into my
Hmm.
mind.
That's a good one, because everybody was overweight. Everybody was
That's
obese.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
rolling
Yes.
around. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and that's where we're headed. To be honest with
Yeah.
you,
That's
I
where
mean
we
that's where
are. I
we're
think that's where
headed.
we are. That's
And
where we are.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, Amazon's supposed to be, they're supposed to be putting out, um, you know, re- uh, using computers to replace people. So are hospitals. You know what I mean? Even a hospital here in Missouri, I've been around where they have a sector already where they're doing some construction where they're bringing in certain machines to do certain things, and so it's going to start to eliminate people. So like I said, we always have to constantly keep upgrading ourselves in order to be in the
Right.
midst of this society,
Right. Right.
to over succeed over this technology. And again, like I said, I think it's going to come to a point we're going to be in a Terminator mindset. We're going to be dealing with some Terminator stuff.
Right. Mm.
I think it really depends on how it's used.
Intention.
It's just technology. It's just like an axe. An axe can be a tool for cutting wood and building a home for a family,
Right.
or it can be used to cut their hands off and cut their heads off.
Right.
I mean, it just all depends on how you use a tool.
Right.
The tool itself, just like the argument with guns, it's all in how you use the tool. And when we didn't have technology, I mean, think about what we're doing right now. We are all live, miles and states apart, talking,
Right.
sharing information to other people.
Valid.
So this is a good, useful way of this technology,
True.
right?
Yes.
That's true. True.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really in all the, like, goes back to what Mackie said, the intent, and then also respecting and learning the technology so you're not ignorant to it.
True.
Right.
Because that's where fear resides when it comes to technology and all things is ignorance of that thing you fear.
Right.
Right.
Once you are no longer ignorant to it, that fear goes away.
Right.
That's
I
right.
do agree.
That's right.
I do agree. That's what brought me back, because I realized that now I have two younger, babies coming into this world. They're going to be using technology. So why be ignorant of it? Let me go and
Right.
educate myself. So when they do ask or when they get involved with it, at least I would know,
And yeah, we all have kids right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Young kids.
Yes.
And what are those kids going to be in the future?
Right.
That's out the future of the world is our children.
Right.
And technology is part of that future. And so we do have to find a balance on teaching our youngins how to use the technology appropriately.
Right.
And so when the new generation goes out into the world, maybe technology is used in a better way and we can see the benefits of that.
Right.
But that's seeds that we have to plant in our children before they grow into their own.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Facts.
Okay. Question number 5. Fatherhood. Why is fatherhood essential to a healthy society? And why do you think strong fatherhood appears to be declining in America today? That's a powerful question, and there's so many tenets to that question. For me, this seems to be. What came to my mind instantly, when we were studying the origins of religions, and we learned from the very beginning it wasn't about fatherhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was matriarchal. It was about the woman and what she brought and what she meant, how important she was, the leader that she was, and that changed. That changed through the course of time, and the fatherhood took over. So with that being said, I don't know. It is important. It is important in the family structure because it has been made that way today. The father is the leader, and for good, strong, healthy children, and all that. That's a tough one for me. I don't really know how to answer because I say there's so many ways that could go for me. There's so many tenets to that question.
Mm-hmm.
I think fatherhood is very essential to a healthy society. I feel like now we live in personally from what I've seen, the real men are as this is coming from some talks that I've had with some women. Men have been real men, real have been pushed into the closet. Now this is like I said, this is not from what this is just from what I've been having these conversations about. But I do feel like fatherhood is important. I feel like it takes a mother and a father to healthily raise children because I believe in that old school. The old school way is women nurturing the children, and then I believe that men raise men. I personally don't believe that a mother could really tell a little boy about fatherhood. I believe it takes the a father to show the son how to do certain things. I believe that it. Now I can't say if it's declining in America because I'm in my own. I'm worried about my own kind of personal journey with fatherhood with my children and with my adult children and then with my younger children. So I'm not sure if it's declining. I do know that, and it just depends on your personal what's going on in your personal journey if it's declining or not. I can't really say for all of America, but I have to look at the statistics on that. But I believe that personally, I do believe that fatherhood is essential. Men being men. Holding each other accountable, men keeping men accountable. You know what I mean to for society. So that's all I got on that one right now, gents.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, fatherhood is definitely essential to society. But at the same time, motherhood is equally as important to society as well. And I'm under the personal belief that the masculine exists to protect the feminine. And that doesn't mean to rule and conquer at all, but that means to protect something that's soft and beautiful and that provides nurture. Um, but fatherhood is declining in America. I see it, and one of the prime reasons for that is testosterone. For one, men's testosterone levels are going very down. They're very low, and there's even some kids that have to get testosterone injections so their body can actually finish puberty because their body's not producing enough to get them through puberty.
Yeah.
And hormones really play a role in a lot in how you feel. That's not the only thing, but it's also how our society with technology, how our society is using the current technology given to us. And it's made us very lazy and very complacent and more ignorant than we used to be, in my opinion. And men are not strong anymore because they don't really get up and do anything. Now I do see some young men. It's becoming more common in the area I live in. I do see a lot of young men starting to actually do things, actually want to learn a trade, want to learn how to work, build themselves, coming to the gym, working out, learning that discipline. But it's up to us guys that right now that those guys are looking up to. We need to give them something to look up to.
Yeah. So I'm gonna come a totally different way on this one. So I believe our society realized the importance of fatherhood a long time ago, and I'm going to say during the Jim Crow era. Okay, the Jim Crow wasn't about just separation and equal, but it was about control, economic, society, and generational kind of disparity, meaning that when you weaken the father, you weaken the family. When you weaken the family, you weaken the future. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And so through Jim Crow, through the slavery concept of Jim Crow, they realized that if you could beat, embarrass, and humiliate the father, you then had control of the mother and the son. Even in society to this day, when you look at what we kind of talked about, government assistance,
Mm.
you can simply say, Father, get away from me. I'm going to tear my son away from you. I don't want you anymore because you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing this. I'm going to come over here to this systematic system and I'm going to get free food. I'm going to get free healthcare. I'm going to get these free items. So again, through the Jim Crow of our society or our system, it knows how important fatherhood is. And yet again, it's a psychological thing to take away that protector and to take away that strength and to leave that mother and child alone in the darkness. So I think fatherhood is something necessary, but I do believe through these experiments in the Western world, um, it has been deemed unnecessary. And now the Jim Crow concept is not only used one, it's not only just used or was used against African Americans, but now it's used against all men in this society. And so to take that father away, because now it don't matter who you are. You know what I mean? A woman's going to leave you if you're not doing certain things and depend on something else. And that son or that daughter lacks so much information through fatherhood. And my own personal example I remember my daughter was in the 10th grade. She was a sophomore and she was having problems with math. Okay. And just by me talking to my daughter, not even going through the math problems, but on the phone talking to her, I was able to build her confidence enough within a 46-week period where she was able to take that grade from a 65 to a 95, right? So, and I thought it was about the actual math problems, but it was the confidence I was building inside of her. You know what I mean? That actually helped her become a better person. So, fatherhood is essential. Is it weakening in American society? Absolutely. Absolutely. They were pushing certain agendas, 6 months, a year or two ago through the transformation of, transgenderism and certain things that, the system was pushing. And so when that father's not there to hold you accountable and say, son, I know you're strong. I know you're almighty. I know you're healthy. I know you're a genius. I know you're this. I know you're that. And to uplift that child, man, it's going to let that child, the world's going to take over him. The world's going to take over him. So fatherhood is essential to the livelihood of a family and to this society. And honestly, it's almost been proven. It's been proven.
You're right.
Right.
It's
Yeah, I
important to
think
be a strong father figure, man.
It is.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. To everybody. I mean, to everybody.
For,
I mean, the
for
gym I go
everyone.
to, the gym my wife and I go to, we get to bring our kids, and there's a single mom in there the other day, and she asked if her son could play with our son, and he was 2, my son is 3, and so we were at the end of the workout. They have a what do you call it, air hockey table, and my kids love playing that. If they do good at the gym, we let them play air hockey at the gym. And so this little boy's 2 years old, and so the mother initially tried to show him how to use, and how to hit the I don't know what the fuck you want to call it, but she was teaching him how
The
to
puck.
the puck,
But
teach him how to
yeah,
hit the puck, and he just wasn't following by what she was saying. And so I got his hand, placed it on the handle, hit the puck for him with using his hand, and within moments he realized how to do that.
right.
So and what came to me was it takes a village to raise a child, which is an old African proverb. It takes a village. So each one of us on here become that village to support that child in his everyday life. And you'd be surprised that staple of what we do goes a long way in that child's, growing up. So it's definitely essential, brothers. It's definitely essential.
Mm. Yeah, when they took away, that's funny. You were saying about the Jim Crow thing when they said, it makes sense because they do give housing to a single mother. They say,
Hmm.
hey, we'll give you this housing for 18
Hmm.
years.
Yes.
If you but the thing is, you can't have your husband there. You know what I'm saying? If you have your husband
Right.
there, then we can't help you. So
Facts.
that
Hmm.
cripples a lot of families. Because I mean now the instead of helping
Hmm.
the whole family,
Yes.
they're like, hey, you know what? We'll help you as long as your man is not in the house, and you got a whole bunch of
Yes.
people that are have their boyfriends legally living with them, but the government is
Hmm.
paying for them to stay there.
Hmm.
Instead of saying, hey, you know what, Corey, we're going to help you and your family for 4 years or for 3 years or for 18 months. We'll help you
Right.
get you a trade or
Right.
something. Get you a trade,
Right.
but instead
Right.
there's no remedy. There's no remedy
No,
for what they have done to the families. So yeah,
that's facts,
that's
bro.
that's a very
That's
interesting back.
facts. Yeah. Yeah. That's child support. That's child support
Yeah,
by itself.
yeah,
If
yeah,
when you
pretty
start
much.
reading to child support, they basically turn your child into a property. And so through that property, the government reaches back out to the father and says, hey, now that you've thrown your son on us, we're going to
Right,
now make you pay for the
right,
very thing that we're giving them. So
right.
the food stamps, the housing, everything,
Yep,
you are
yep.
actually you're paying for that every
Yes,
single month.
yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? So, bro, you hit it on the nail with that one. You hit
Yeah,
on the nail
and
with
you're
that
paying
one.
taxes, and you're paying taxes. You're paying taxes,
Yes.
child support.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and don't have more than 1 or 2 kids because 'cause you're not gonna have a
yeah.
check. Your check is
Nope.
gone.
They take half of your check sometimes, half of
They
your
sure
check.
do.
Like
They
how can
sure
you
do.
suffice another living with another family if they're
Yeah.
taking half of your check? I'm just saying, that's the whole thing. But
That's facts,
It's
bro.
yes, yeah,
true. It's
Yeah.
true.
There's
And
always
it's
going to
just a
be a masculine influence on a female. It just depends on who that masculine influence is going to be.
True.
right,
Is it going to be you, and you're going to stand up and be a man, or you're going to allow it to be the government to be the daddy, to be the masculine figure.
Right.
And that's what happens to a lot of women is they're looking for safety and security. I mean that's just basic.
Right.
That's what women are looking for: safety and security.
Yeah.
And if you can't provide that as a man, they're going to get it from the government, and the government offers that. And in fact, I would say they want that to happen to keep us weak.
Yes. Absolutely.
And then the man gets stripped away of his femininity, and for most men, that's their purpose. I know for me, that's where I draw my power from, is from my wife.
Yes.
So if I don't have her, I'm not going to be able to accomplish the things that I want in life.
Right.
Thanks, brothers. Yeah. Yeah. It's just
Those
cycle.
are great questions. That was a good one right there, King. That was a good one.
Yes, sir.
All of it. All of it. King Mackey, you got that spotlight, King?
Yes, sir. I got that spotlight. Give me a moment. Let me go to it here. This is going to be a good one, brothers. This is going to be a good one. All right, my spotlight tonight is the real Top Guns, the Tuskegee Airmen champions. Check this out, fellas. When people think of elite fighter pilots, movies like Top Gun often come to mind. High-speed jets, fearless aviators, and unmatched precision. But long before Hollywood dramatized aerial existence, a group of African-American pilots proved they were just as skilled, if not better, under combat conditions. This spotlight is on four extraordinary men: Alvy Temple, Harry Stewart Jr., James Harvey III, and alternate Halbert Alexander, members of the legendary Tuskegee Airmen. In 1949, at a time when segregation still gripped the United States military, these men competed in the U.S. Air Force first ever Top Gun style aerial gunner competition, officially known as the U.S. Air Force Fighter Gunner Meet, facing off against the best white fighter squadrons in the country. Their team from the 332nd Fighter Group rose above adversary, rose above racism and doubt. Flying the powerful B-47 Thunderbolt, they demonstrated unmatched precision, discipline, and teamwork. Against all expectations, they didn't just compete, they won, outperforming every squadron and proved beyond question that excellent has no color. Yet, despite their historic victory, their achievement was buried and largely ignored for decades. A reflection of racial climate of the time, it wasn't until years later that their triumph was finally recognized, restoring their rightful place in history. This story isn't just about aviation, it's about resilience, breaking barriers, and redefining what it means to be elite. These men were the real Top Guns before the little before the title ever became popular to culture. So the spotlight today is the Top Gun Tuskegee Airmen. Thank you for your service.
It's a great spotlight. Yeah. Also, a great movie too, the Tuskegee Airmen. It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Great
Yeah.
movie. Really, really good.
Yeah.
It's a great spotlight, brother. Cool. Hey, great podcast tonight, Kings. We encourage you, for all those who listen, your likes, your thoughts, your suggestions, your questions, your opinions, anything that you may have. We would like to hear that. More than welcome for your input. If you can't watch the video, you can certainly plug us in. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Podcast Addicts, Riverside FM. So there's several places that you can reach out to us and listen to us as well. Always, 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 I'm grateful, and it's always good to fellowship with you, Kings, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loved it.
All right. Until next time, Sunday night's podcast book club. Please join us for that. Ancient Africa, 9:15. We'll be delving more into that this Sunday at 9:15. Sunday book podcast. You gentlemen have had great rest of your evening.
All right. Love you, Kings. See y'all
Love
next
y'all.
time.
Love you too.
Rock and roll.